What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the PlayStation Showcase and just kind of discuss where we're at. We went through the week that a lot of people, including myself, I think to a degree, thought was going to be the announcement. Now, we didn't get it, this entire week. I don't look at it all that bad because, to be honest with you, my hope was that we could actually get the showcase Memorial Day week and not next week. That was my kind of want for it. I think it makes a lot of sense, and just a personal side, it's kind of what I wanted. And to be honest with you, that very much looks like what's going to happen, right? Because as we've talked about, and it's not a full-on guarantee, you've had leadership changes. You've had a lot of things happen, even from one year to the next. A lot can change, right? But if you look at the history of these PlayStation showcases, they generally give about a week's notice. And even if you want to say some things changed behind the scenes, you could look to anybody else for how that part in particular, the window between announcing it and releasing it, that has never changed. You have the Xbox event that's in June, and they gave plenty of notice for something like that. Obviously, Jeff Keighley gives like 1 year's notice, to when Summer Games Fest and Gamescom and stuff like that. But you can look at the Ubisoft event, which, those three are back-to-back, right? Summer Games Fest, I think, is the Friday. Xbox might be the Sunday, and then Ubisoft is the Monday. And we've known about that for depending on which one, but we've known about all of them for a while. Why do I harp on this? Well, again, I've seen some people say, okay, well, can you announce it and do it in the same week? And I mean, the answer is yes, like you can. There's nothing necessarily stopping you. But I do think my own opinion, at least my own prediction, is they're still going to stick to the general, the status quo where they announce it and then it comes out a week later. So I'm going to go on record. And, like I said, I actually think I tweeted this on a Wednesday night. They were either going to announce the showcase Thursday, which, 2 days ago, 1 day ago, depending when you're watching this, or it's going to be next week. I just don't think a showcase is going to happen on a Friday. I don't think they're going to announce it on a weekend. They could announce it this upcoming, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe it happens this upcoming Thursday. But the way I see it right now is I feel like we get an announcement Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even Tuesday. I forget. I think showcases are generally Thursdays. I could be wrong on that. There's some reference sheet where it's like maybe state of plays are a certain day, showcases are certain days. I think they like to do Tuesdays and Thursdays, but again, that could be wrong. So I mean, I guess take your best shot at it. Maybe it's a Tuesday announcement and it happens the day after Memorial Day, or maybe it's this upcoming Thursday they announce it and then it releases the following Thursday. Bottom line, another thing to throw in here, like, will they still do it, right? For those that maybe believe, oh man, are we getting ourselves hot? Which I think is a fair concern. I was going to say criticism. No, concern is probably the right word, right? Definitely a fair concern. Like, are we getting ourselves pumped up for them to just not do anything? We've had, even when I'm recording this a few hours ago, I think I saw a rumor from somebody, I actually forget who, that said like Sony still likes May. Like May is the month that they like to do these events, which is basically like a wink, wink, nod, nod. It's not next week, but like the following week, all of those weekdays are still all in May. I think the final day of May is the Friday, right? So they can still do it that final week in May. Memorial Day is that Monday, right? But you can still do it that week, and you can still be in May. I feel like there's two things you got to say. Number one, and again, in terms of like, are they going to do it, or, is it canceled or whatever? I think they have to do it. I think they have to do it, and they have to do it within these next 2 weeks. Because you go the week after, and like I just said, like you have Summer Games Fest, you have Xbox, you have Ubisoft. You can go after it. It doesn't really seem like Sony's like thing to do anymore. Like they don't do that, right? They like to do it before those things come out. So if you don't do it these next 2 weeks, and I also, I guess, even from Summer Games Fest perspective, right? We know PlayStation is going to be there, and I don't think it's going to be gigantic, but they have done stuff before. I think Jeff Keighley, whether it was Gamescom or whether it was Summer Games Fest or maybe even Game Awards, he gave the release date, I believe, to Forbidden West. He's shown off Spider-Man before. Like, he's done PlayStation things and decently, actually very big PlayStation games. I don't know if you would like give him the keys to announce something new, but maybe a follow-up. You announce something at the showcase, or you show something in the showcase, and then you see it again at Summer Games Fest. In order to make that work, you have to have the showcase first, right? And we know PlayStation is going to Summer Games Fest. At least maybe one game, would be there. But that still, I think, would line up quite well. So in my mind, it cannot possibly be after. And you could say, okay, well, what about at all? Like, could they just skip? Again, I mean, they could. There's nothing stopping them. But I don't know. I know a lot has been said about like that business meeting that they're having, and I think when the dust has settled, it seems like I think this upcoming Thursday is Sony as a whole. They're talking about the strategy of Sony as a whole, and then I think May 30th is specifically PlayStation. Now that doesn't mean a PlayStation showcase. It means like an internal, some sort of a meeting process internally at PlayStation and internally at Sony. Can you do a showcase the same day that you do your internal kind of review? I think you could. Could you do the showcase a day before or a day after? I think you could. But I do think you have to. Like, again, you follow the history, and they've done at least one of these every year for a while. Did they maybe skip one of them? I kind of forget. But, they used to double up on them. That was fun when they did one in June. I think the PS5 year, I think 2020, right? They did one in June. They announced Hogwarts Legacy, I believe, that year. And then you had the September one where they announced God of War and other games. So that's when they were like firing on all cylinders, I think because they kind of had to. Nowadays, you just have one. But they need to do it, right? Because as we keep saying, they need updates on some of these games. Like I'm starting to like create a list of like games that like have got to be shown or like need to be locks. And like the Until Dawn remake, you got to say something on that game. You could do it on your own, like separately or on a PlayStation blog, but you have a showcase for that. Silent Hill 2, maybe even Metal Gear 3. There's more. But and then also I guess announcements for 2025. You could say Concord. Concord is supposed to come out this year, and it's like, okay, well, we don't know anything. We know I guess the type of game that it is, but we don't know anything past that. So they have a lot to discuss. And could you do it as like a offshoot PlayStation blog thing? I suppose, but it makes way more sense to throw a show together. So I do think you're still getting a showcase. And like I said, I think you're going to get the announcement this upcoming week, and then it'll happen the week after. So let me know what you think. And by the way, once it all starts to, I'm waiting. Like once it gets announced, we're going to start doing some prediction videos and talking about individual games. I got all that planned. I'm just, waiting till PlayStation does something, I guess. So let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.